On camera, she laughed while she badgered her staff. And so all good things must end. And also the Ellen DeGeneres show. Yes, the 83-year-old entertainer just announced that the upcoming 19th season of her show will be its last. Apparently, she created a workplace more toxic than an Amazon warehouse in Chernobyl. Countless allegations surfaced last summer that the show's work environment was rife with harassment and discrimination. Following those charges, Ellen's ratings dropped faster than Kevin Spacey's pants at a boy band pool party.
She built an empire on one word: kindness. For years, Ellen DeGeneres danced across our screens with a smile so wide it seemed untouchable, a persona so squeaky clean it could have passed a white glove test. She was the queen of daytime, the generous giver of oversized checks, and the icon who reminded us, daily, to just be nice. But behind the laughter, behind the hugs and heartwarming giveaways, was a reality far less charming. Because when the cameras stopped rolling, the real Ellen, it turns out, wasn't someone you'd want to meet in a hallway, especially if you accidentally made eye contact.
It led to article after article of people being like, Ellen's a bitch. Ellen is a nasty person. And all these staffers started to come out, not for nothing, but I know a guy, I know him very well, whose sister worked for her, who said, you were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen in the halls of that show. If you saw her, this is not a nice person. So she eventually got canceled, but now she's coming back. She's got a Netflix special.
If you're tired of fake Hollywood smiles and the media protecting their darlings, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, because what we're about to reveal will make you question every feel-good moment Ellen ever broadcast. It started with whispers, then headlines, and finally a cultural reckoning. Former employees of the Ellen DeGeneres show began stepping forward, one by one, with stories that were anything but kind. Allegations ranged from verbal abuse to creating a toxic work environment where fear was the default setting. Interns reportedly cried in bathrooms, staffers avoided eye contact, and upper management allegedly enabled it all. But perhaps no moment broke the spell faster than the now infamous interview with Dakota Johnson. It began lightheartedly, Ellen, as always, trying to tease her guest, but Dakota flipped the script. When Ellen claimed she hadn't been invited to Dakota's birthday party, Johnson calmly corrected her. Actually, I did invite you, Ellen. That one moment of unscripted truth struck like lightning. It pierced through the curated image of Ellen as the lovable talk show host. The internet erupted, and suddenly, people started to question the entire empire. Could it be that the woman who built a brand on joy was, in fact, the source of her staff's misery? Enter Megyn Kelly. With the precision of a surgeon and the memory of a media watchdog, she dove headfirst into the narrative that mainstream outlets had tiptoed around. While other journalists hesitated, Megyn brought fire. Her central argument? The media protected Ellen for too long. Had Ellen been a conservative woman, Kelly argued, she wouldn't have gotten a Netflix comeback. She would have been hosting a deposition. Kelly's critique wasn't just about Ellen. It was about the system that allowed Ellen to thrive. The talk. Show host was beloved not only for her humor, but for her politics. She checked all the right boxes. She was LGBTQ. She supported the right causes. She smiled at the right moments. And that, Kelly said, gave her a shield, a cultural immunity that deflected real accountability. But where Kelly brought the receipts, Greg Gutfeld brought the flamethrower. Known for his sarcastic jabs and offbeat delivery, Gutfeld didn't waste time dissecting Ellen's carefully rehearsed apology tour. Instead, he laughed. Not because the allegations were funny, but because the spectacle of it all had become absurd. Ellen, he noted, wasn't canceled. She got a Netflix special. She wasn't ousted, she took a victory lap. Gutfeld compared her farewell episodes to a hostage video. The once vibrant energy was gone, replaced by awkward goodbyes and forced gratitude. The jokes fell flat. The smiles looked strained. Watching the last season of Ellen, Gutfeld said, felt like watching a wedding where the bride already filed for divorce. As the narrative unraveled, more disturbing details came to light. One anonymous employee said you could be reprimanded just for looking at Ellen in the hallway. Another claimed they had panic attacks before work. Behind the scenes, it wasn't rainbow confetti and feel-good segments. It was dread, silence, and HR complaints. Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly kept hammering. She scrutinized not only Ellen's behavior, but the industry's complicity. Why did Hollywood stay quiet for so long? Why were celebrities so eager to post tributes but so hesitant to speak out? Because, Kelly argued, Ellen was useful, her brand was profitable, her kindness was a marketing tool, and then came the apology, the non-apology. Ellen took the stage, looked into the camera, and delivered what some called a heartfelt statement. But Kelly and Gutfeld weren't convinced. The wording was vague, the tone rehearsed. If I made anyone feel, that's not an apology, that's deflection dressed as contrition. It was all passive voice, polished regret, and just enough. Distance to avoid true responsibility. Kelly called it what it was, a PR stunt soaked in smugness. Gutfeld, ever the satirist, said it felt like an SNL sketch where Ellen couldn't decide if she was apologizing or accepting an award. The public didn't buy it either. Social media turned on her. Reddit threads lit up with former crew members' horror stories. Even loyal fans started to question who they'd been clapping for all these years. Then came the silence. The celebrities who once cheered Ellen on fell mysteriously quiet. A few posted half-hearted Instagram stories. Others deleted old clips. No one wanted to be associated with the scandal. And as Ellen's brand collapsed, so did the illusion that anyone in Hollywood was ever really held accountable. But here's where things got even more uncomfortable. Because Ellen wasn't just being exposed. She was being studied by media critics, by cultural analysts, and by people like Megyn Kelly, who saw her downfall as symptomatic of a bigger issue. Celebrity privilege mixed with political alignment creates a shield so strong, it takes an avalanche to crack it. Ellen, Kelly said, wasn't just a talk show host, she was a product of a media system that rewards surface-level goodness while ignoring what happens behind closed doors. Her downfall wasn't sudden, it was a slow-motion collapse built on years of smiling over silence. And Greg Gutfeld? He turned the entire ordeal into a comedy bit so sharp it left scars. He joked that Ellen's green room should be turned into a reality show where guests wear helmets and dodge Post-it notes. He compared her empire to Willy Wonka's factory if it had been run by a tyrant with a glitter budget. But beyond the jokes, Gutfeld raised a serious point. If someone like Ellen, with her power, influence, and endless PR machines, could get away with treating people this poorly, what does that say about everyone else in power? And then, the show ended. Not with a dramatic finale, not with fanfare, just a quiet fade out. Ellen danced one last time, waved to the audience, and walked off stage. The applause felt hollow. The gratitude felt scripted. The Queen of Kindness disappeared into her Malibu estate, leaving behind a legacy tainted by HR complaints and media gaslighting. Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly thrived. Free from network constraints, she built her own media empire, one blunt truth at a time. And Greg Gutfeld, he dethroned traditional late-night kings with sarcasm, sharp wit, and the kind of commentary that didn't need a teleprompter or a Hollywood filter. In the end, the Ellen DeGeneres story isn't just about one woman's fall from grace. It's about the system that let her rise unchecked. It's about how we let personalities overshadow principles, how kindness became a brand instead of a behavior, and how sometimes the most revealing moments happen not on stage, but when the cameras are finally turned off. So what did we learn? That dancing doesn't equal decency, that smiling doesn't guarantee sincerity, and that behind every Hollywood persona, there may be a very different person pulling the strings. And if Megyn Kelly is holding a media microscope and Greg Gutfeld is holding a Molotov cocktail of satire, you'd better believe the show isn't over. Thanks for watching. If you want more truth bombs, media exposés, and deep dives into Hollywood's fakest smiles, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Because next time, we might just be looking behind another curtain. See you in the next one.